Hey everyone, I'm Jack and welcome to the show.
Hi, I'm Elena.
And today let's talk about something that I think a lot of English learners struggle with.
Hmm.
How to start translating in your head,
Yeah, it's a really common problem.
especially when you're just beginning.
Yeah, when you're just starting out. Yeah.
It's like there's this wall between you and English. You're
Yeah,
constantly switching back and forth.
right. And it can make it really difficult to understand and speak English smoothly.
You really can.
Yeah.
So what's a good first step?
Well, one thing you can do is just start with simple things around you.
Hmm.
Look at everyday objects and just try to think of their names.
Okay, so if I see a book, I just think book.
Yeah, just think book in English.
Okay,
Don't think of it in your native language.
okay.
And you can do this all day long
Oh, wow.
while you're walking down the street while you're eating.
Hmm.
Yeah. Anytime you see something, you can just practice
Okay,
naming it in your head.
it's like a little brain workout.
Yeah, you're giving your brain a little workout in English.
Okay, so we're training our brains to think in English.
Yeah, little by little.
Okay, so what comes after that?
Well, once you get comfortable with just naming things, try to describe them.
Okay.
So, instead of just book, you
Hmm.
can think a big blue book or a book with lots of pictures.
Okay.
Add more detail.
We're building up to more.
Yeah, you're building from single words to phrases.
Okay.
And I think this can also help you remember the words better
Mm.
because you're kind of creating a picture in your mind.
You're associating that image with the word. So
Exactly.
we're making it more visual and memorable.
Right.
What about when we're learning new words?
Mm.
Like in a classroom or from a book?
Well, I think one thing that can help is to try to connect those words with a memory.
Oh, okay.
Maybe think about where you were when you learned the word or
Yeah.
who you were with or how you felt.
Okay, so if I learned the word happy while I was watching a funny movie with friends, I should link that word to that feeling of happiness.
Exactly. And that can make it so much easier to remember.
Yeah.
It's like you're creating a little story for each word.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But what about thinking in full sentences?
Yeah.
That feels like a big jump.
It can be, but start small.
Okay.
Begin with very basic sentences
Hmm.
like, I see a cat,
Okay.
or the sky is blue.
Simple sentences.
Yeah, and don't worry too much about perfect grammar.
Okay.
At first, the goal is just to get your brain used to
Mhm.
putting those words together
Toss
in
a
a
ruler.
natural way.
We're starting with the building blocks of a sentence.
Yeah.
So, and then what do we do?
Well, once you have a few sentences, try practicing them out loud.
Out loud?
Yeah, even if you're alone.
Okay.
This helps to train your mouth and your brain
Mm.
to work together.
It might feel a little strange talking to myself.
It might.
I guess it's good practice.
It is. It's like a private rehearsal.
So we're starting to think and speak in English, even if it's just in small ways.
Right.
What else can we do to kind of speed up this process?
Well, one of the best things you can do is immerse yourself in English as much as possible. And that means surrounding yourself with the language.
So like listening to English music,
Yeah.
watching English movies.
Exactly. Reading English books.
Okay.
Watching English TV shows, even just a little bit each day, can make a big difference.
It's like taking a trip to an English-speaking country.
Yeah, you're kind of creating that environment for yourself.
But I have to be honest, I think a lot of people get discouraged
Yeah.
because they expect to be fluent overnight.
Oh, yeah. It's really important to be patient.
Mm.
This is going to take time and effort.
It's like any new skill. It takes practice.
Yeah.
And you're going to make mistakes along the way.
Absolutely.
And that's okay.
It is. It's part of the process.
So what are some small wins that people can look for?
Well, maybe you understand a whole sentence in a movie without subtitles. Or you're able to order a coffee in English at a cafe.
Those are good signs.
Yeah, those are small victories, but they're still victories.
We have to remember to celebrate those small wins.
We do. They keep us motivated.
So we've started simple.
Mm-hmm.
We built up to sentences.
Right.
And we're immersing ourselves in English a little bit each day.
Yeah.
What's next?
Well, let's talk about a technique called shadowing.
Shadowing.
Yeah.
Sounds interesting. Tell me more about that.
Okay, so shadowing is basically when you listen to a native English speaker and you repeat what they say immediately after them.
Oh, so I'm kind of copying them?
You're trying to copy their pronunciation
Yeah.
and their tone of voice.
So it's not just about the words, but how they're saying them.
Exactly.
So how do I practice this shadowing technique?
Well, you can shadow along with anything, really.
Mm.
Movies, podcasts, YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Anything that has native English speakers.
I can choose something that I enjoy.
Yeah, start with something fun. That you can understand fairly well.
Okay.
And as you get better, you can challenge yourself with something more difficult.
So I'm training my ears and my mouth to work together.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Okay, now here's another question. What about common phrases?
Yeah, learning common phrases is really helpful.
Like, what do you mean by that?
Well, these are phrases that people use all the time in conversations,
Oh,
like, how are you? Or, thank you? Or, excuse me.
Oh, so instead of translating each individual word,
Yeah.
we can learn the whole phrase.
Exactly. And it makes speaking so much easier and faster.
It's like a shortcut.
Yeah.
You don't have to think so hard.
Right. And as you learn more and more of these phrases, you'll start to notice patterns in English grammar.
It's like learning the pieces of a puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start to see how they all fit together.
That's a great analogy.
And speaking of fitting things together, let's talk about thinking in chunks.
Oh, yeah. Thinking in chunks is a really important technique.
What does that even mean?
Well, instead of thinking about each individual word in a sentence, try to group words together into meaningful units.
Oh, so like instead of thinking I go to the store, I should think I go to the store as one unit.
Exactly. And that's how native speakers think. They don't process each word separately.
So we're trying to mimic how native speakers think.
Yeah, and it will make your speaking and listening much smoother, more natural.
It's like we're teaching our brains to think in phrases, not just words.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
It can feel a little strange at first.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But the more you do it, the easier it becomes.
So we talked about shadowing, learning common phrases, thinking in chunks.
Right.
What else can we do to make this English thinking really stick?
One of the best things you can do is to make English a part of your daily life.
Even when I'm not studying?
Even when you're not actively studying.
Okay, how can we do that?
We'll try simple things like changing the language on your phone or computer to English.
Oh, that's a good idea. So I'd be reading menus and notifications.
Yeah, you'd be seeing English everywhere.
Okay.
You could also try listening to English music in the background while you cook or clean.
Oh, okay.
You know, little things like that.
It's like making English a background soundtrack to my life.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And, don't worry if you don't understand every word. Just having that exposure can be helpful.
We're creating an English-speaking environment, even if we're not in an English-speaking country.
Right.
Now let's talk about goals.
Okay.
I know a lot of people have this big goal of like, I want to be fluent in English.
Yeah.
But I think it's helpful to break that down.
It can be overwhelming to have such a big goal.
So what kind of smaller goals should we set?
Well, it really depends on your level and what you want to achieve.
Okay.
But, maybe it's something like learning 5 new words every day.
Okay.
Or watching a 10-minute English video without subtitles. Something achievable.
We're breaking down the big, scary goal into smaller pieces. And as we achieve each of those small goals, we get more motivated.
Yeah, it keeps you going.
It's like climbing a mountain. You don't look at the whole mountain at once.
Right. You focus on the next step.
And that's a good way to approach language learning.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people struggle with staying motivated.
Yeah, it can be tough.
It can be.
So what advice do you have?
Well, I think one of the most important things is to find ways to make it fun. If it feels like a chore, you're not going to want to do it.
Okay, so how can we make it fun?
Well, think about your hobbies. What do you enjoy doing?
Okay.
And see if you can connect your English learning with those hobbies.
So if I like to cook,
I
could watch cooking shows in English.
Exactly.
Okay.
If you like music, listen to English songs.
Okay.
Find ways to make it enjoyable.
And don't worry if I don't understand everything.
Don't worry. Just enjoy the process.
Okay. That sounds good.
Yeah.
It's about making it a part of my life and not just something I have to study. Exactly. And another thing that can help is finding a learning partner.
Oh, yeah.
Someone to practice with.
It's always more fun with a friend.
It is. And you can support each other.
Yeah.
Encourage each other.
Laugh at each other's mistakes.
Exactly, because everyone makes mistakes.
They do.
It's part of the process.
And that brings us to another important point. Be kind to yourself.
Yes, be kind to yourself.
It's okay to make mistakes.
It is.
We're learning. You're learning a new language? It's not going to be easy.
There are going to be days when I feel frustrated.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not seeing progress as quickly as I want.
Right.
But it's important to remember that every little bit of effort counts.
It does.
And we should celebrate those small wins.
And be patient.
And be patient with yourself.
It's about the journey, not just the destination.
Exactly.
I think that's a good reminder for a lot of things in life.
It is.
Now, we've been talking a lot about how to stop translating in our head. But what about the times when we do need to translate?
Yeah.
Like if I come across a word that I just don't...
Oh, of course, there will be times when you need to translate.
Yeah.
But try to make it a last resort.
Okay, so what should I try first?
Well, before you reach for that dictionary,
Okay.
see if you can guess the meaning from the context.
You mean like look at the other words in the sentence?
Yeah. Look for clues.
Okay.
What's happening in the sentence? What kind of word would make sense there?
It's like being a detective.
It is. You're trying to solve a mystery word.
And if I'm still not sure,
Yeah.
can I ask someone?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Most people are happy to help.
So we've talked about a lot of techniques
Mm-hmm.
for stopping this translation habit.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that we should keep in mind?
Well, I think one of the most important things is to be patient.
Hmm.
You know, it's easy to get discouraged when you don't see progress
Yeah.
as quickly as you want.
It takes time.
It takes time and effort.
We're not going to wake up one day and suddenly be fluent.
No, it's a step-by-step process.
So what can we do on those days when we feel stuck?
Well, I think it's important to remember why you started learning English.
Huh.
What are your goals?
Hmm.
What do you want to be able to do with the language?
Maybe I want to travel.
Yeah.
Maybe I want to be able to talk to friends from different cultures.
Exactly. Those goals can help you stay motivated.
It's about remembering the destination
Mm.
when the journey feels long,
Yeah, and celebrate your successes along the way.
even if they're small.
Even if they seem small, they're still successes.
Like if I learn one more word today than I knew yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Every little bit of progress is worth celebrating.
It's important to focus on the positive.
It is. And to believe in yourself.
Hmm.
You know, a lot of people give up because they don't think they can do it.
Yeah.
But everyone can learn English.
It just takes the right approach
Duh.
and believing that we can do it. Well, I think we've covered a lot of great information today.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
Well, I would just say, don't be afraid to make mistakes. You know, embrace those mistakes as part of the learning process.
It's all about practice.
It is. The more you practice, the better you'll get.
Great advice.
Thanks.
Well, thanks for joining us today, Elena.
Oh, it was my pleasure.
It was great talking with you.
Likewise.
And thanks to all of our listeners for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
We hope this episode has inspired you to start thinking in English.
And remember, you can do it.
Until next time, keep practicing and keep learning.
Yeah, keep learning. Bye, everyone. Bye. And you repeat what they say immediately after them.
So I'm like copying them.
Yeah, you're trying to copy them.
Okay.
Their pronunciation and their tone.
So not just the words, but how they're saying them.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so how do I practice this?
Well, you can shadow with
Hmm.
really anything.
Oh.
Movies, podcasts, YouTube videos, anything that has native English speakers.
Okay, so I can choose something that I enjoy?
Yeah, find something you like
Okay.
that you can understand pretty well.
Okay.
And then as you get better, you can challenge yourself with something harder.
Okay, so I'm training my ears and my mouth
Yeah,
to work together.
exactly.
What about common phrases?
Oh, yeah.
Should we be learning those?
Learning common phrases is so helpful.
Like what? What
Well,
do you mean by that?
these are phrases that people use all the time.
Yeah.
Like, how are you? Or thank you? Or excuse me.
Okay, so instead of translating every word,
Yeah,
I can learn the whole phrase.
you got it.
Okay.
And it just makes speaking so much easier and faster.
It's like a shortcut.
It is.
I don't have to think as hard.
Yeah, and as you learn more of these phrases, you might start to notice patterns in the grammar.
Oh, like
Yeah.
it's like learning the pieces of a puzzle,
Yeah,
and then I can see how they fit together.
exactly.
Speaking of fitting things together,
Mm-hmm.
what about this thinking in chunks?
Oh, yeah, thinking in chunks.
What did that even mean?
Well, instead of thinking about each word separately,
Oh,
you try to group the words together
Okay.
into like units of meaning.
so instead of thinking I go to the store, I think I go to the store.
That's it.
Okay.
And that's actually how native speakers think.
Okay.
They don't process each word separately.
So we're trying to think like a native speaker.
You are, and it'll make your speaking and listening
Okay.
so much more smooth and natural.
It's like we're teaching our brains to think in phrases,
Yeah,
not just words.
exactly.
Okay.
And it can feel weird at first,
Yeah, I bet.
but the more you do it, the easier it becomes.
So we've talked about shadowing,
Mm-hmm.
common phrases,
Right.
thinking in chunks.
Yeah.
What else?
Well, you know, one of the best things you can do is make English a part of your everyday life.
Even when I'm not studying,
Even when you're not actively studying.
how can we do?
Well, there's a lot of simple things you can do.
Okay.
Like, you can change the language on your phone or your computer
Oh, okay.
to English.
So I'm reading Menus, notifications in English.
Yeah, you're seeing English everywhere.
Okay.
You could also listen to English music in the background while you're doing other things like
Yeah.
cooking or cleaning.
So I'm making it a background soundtrack.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it doesn't matter if you don't understand everything. Just having that exposure can be helpful.
I'm creating an English-speaking environment.
You are.
Okay.
Even if you're not in an English-speaking country.
Now let's talk about goals.
Okay.
I think a lot of people, have this big goal of like, I want to be fluent.
Yeah.
But that can be overwhelming.
It's a big goal.
So what kind of smaller goals can we set?
Well, it really depends on your level.
Okay.
And what you want to achieve.
Okay.
But, maybe it's something like learning 5 new words each day. Or watching a short English video without subtitles.
Okay.
Something that you can actually achieve.
I like that we're breaking down this big goal
Yeah.
into these smaller bite-sized pieces.
Smaller steps.
Yeah. And then as we achieve them, we feel good.
You feel more motivated.
We feel more motivated to keep going.
Exactly.
It's like climbing a mountain.
Yeah.
You don't look at the whole mountain at once.
You just focus on the next step.
That's a good way to think about it.
Yeah.
Now, I know a lot of people struggle with staying motivated.
Oh, yeah. It can be tough.
It can be. So what advice do you have for them?
I think the most important thing is to find ways to make it fun.
Okay.
If it feels like a chore,
Hmm.
we're not going to want to do it.
That's true. So how can we make it fun?
Well, I would say, think about what you like to do.
Huh?
What are your hobbies?
Hmm.
And see if you can connect your English learning with your hobbies.
So if I like to cook,
Yeah.
I could watch cooking shows in English.
Or if you like music, listen to English music.
Okay.
Find ways to make it enjoyable.
Don't worry if I don't understand everything.
No, just enjoy the process.
It's about making it a part of my life.
Yeah.
Not just something I have to study.
Exactly.
Another thing that can help is finding a learning partner.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Someone to practice with.
It's always more fun with a friend.
It is. And you can help each other stay motivated.
Encourage each other.
Yeah.
And we can laugh at each other's mistakes.
Exactly. And everyone's going to make mistakes.
That's true.
It's part of the process.
And that brings us to another point.
Mm-hmm.
Be kind to yourself.
Yes. Be kind to yourself.
It's okay to make mistakes.
It is. You're learning.
It's all part of learning.
You're learning a new language. It's going to be hard.
There are going to be days when I'm frustrated,
Of course.
when I feel like I'm not making progress.
I know, but every little bit of effort counts.
And
And you should celebrate those small wins.
be patient.
Be patient with yourself. It's about the journey, not the destination.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
We've been talking a lot about how to stop translating in our heads.
Mm-hmm.
But what about when we do need to translate?
Okay.
Like if I come across a word I just don't know.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
There will be times when you need to translate,
Yeah.
but try to make it a last resort.
Okay, so what should I try first?
Well, before you go to the dictionary,
Okay.
try to guess the meaning
Okay.
from the
That's
context.
From the context. Okay.
Yeah, look for clues, like what's happening in the sentence.
Okay.
What kind of word would make sense there?
So I'm like a detective.
Yeah, you're like a word detective.
I got to figure out this mystery.
Exactly.
And if I'm still not sure,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
okay to ask for help.
It is. Most people are happy to help.
Okay. Okay, so we've talked about a lot of techniques
Yeah.
for stopping this translation habit.
Mm-hmm.
Any other advice?
Well, I think one of the most important things
Oh.
is to be patient.
Yeah, it's easy to get discouraged.
Yeah.
When I'm not seeing the progress I want,
It's true.
as quickly as I want.
It takes time
Mhm.
and effort.
It does.
Learning a new language
Yeah.
is a journey.
It's not going to happen overnight.
No.
We're not going to just wake up one day and suddenly be fluent.
It's a process.
It is.
And some days are going to be harder than others.
So what can we do on those days when we're feeling discouraged?
Well, I think it's helpful to remember why you started.
Yeah.
Why are you learning English?
Okay.
What are your goals for this?
Mm.
What you want to be able to do?
Maybe I want to travel
Yeah.
or talk to friends from other countries.
Exactly. And if you can remember those goals,
Ah.
that can help you stay motivated.
It's about remembering the destination
Yeah,
when the journey gets tough,
exactly. And, celebrate your successes.
even the small ones.
Yeah, even the little things.
If I learned one more word today than yesterday,
That's progress.
that's progress.
Yeah, you're moving in the right direction.
It's about focusing on the positive.
Yeah, and believing in yourself.
Hmm.
A lot of people give up
Mm-hmm.
because they don't think they can do it.
Yeah, they lose faith.
But you can. You can learn English.
Everyone can.
It just takes time and effort and the right approach.
And the belief that we can.
Yeah, you have to believe in yourself.
Okay, well, I think we've covered a lot of great information today.
We have.
Any final thoughts?
I would just say, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Embrace them.
Yeah.
They're part of the process.
They are?
The more you practice, the better you'll get.
That's good advice.
Thanks.
Well, thanks for joining us, Elena.
It was my pleasure.
It's been great talking to you.
Likewise.
Thanks, everyone, for listening.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
We hope this episode has inspired you to start thinking in English.
And remember, you can do it.
Until next time, keep practicing and keep learning.
Yeah, keep learning.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.